All right. G'day, guys. It's Kirby. I hope you are all well. If you can hear me, just to make sure that I am correctly operating here, just let me know in the chat box if you're participating, or if you're on Facebook, just pop a comment in the comments box just so I can make sure that it is all working. I'm just going to jump into Facebook real quick and just double check that things are looking kosher, and then I'll be kicking off the training. G'day, guys. And yes, Facebook is working. Awesome. All right, so let's kick off with the training. And if you're with me live, hello, welcome. If you are watching this as a replay or as a recording, great to have you here. Today we are covering essentially how to get more clients for your coaching business, consulting business, or your professional services business in 2019. And I suppose what I really mean by this is if you serve other people, and part of you serving other people is utilizing your own experience, your own skills, or you are selling people a product or service or program attached to your business, then this framework I think will be very, very beneficial for you in 2019 and even what's left of 2018 if we're quite honest, because we've still got a couple of weeks left before the end of this year. One of the reasons that I did this training is because for the last 3.5 years, I've been working with corporate clients, and I've had a lot of people approach me and ask how I have grown my business from zero, like literally, no plan, no clients, no anything, to now selling well over one and a bit $1 million worth of business. It has been quite a phenomenal ride, and some of those things that I've learned along the way, and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way, have been, I suppose, instrumental in allowing me to achieve those things, and that's why I want to share them with you right now. So let's kick off straight away. And I just want to say, before we do anything at all, one of my big things is that webinars generally, as we would call them, a webinar, usually, first 30 to 40 minutes is talking about the speaker and how great they are, followed by about 3 minutes and 12 seconds of actual content, followed by like 48 minutes of really hardcore pitch at the end. And I just want to let you know that there's absolutely nothing to buy here on this training. There is no pitch at the end of this. There's literally just a slide that says thank you, questions, goodbye. So don't stress about me pitching to you. It's not going to happen. I just want to give you some value and make sure that you leave this webinar or training with great frameworks that you can use in your business right now. Now, you can see there, I've got, you can make the call, right? And that's true. If you do think, geez, Kirby's pretty cool, I like what he's all about, then of course you can contact me. And if you want to join one of my programs, then that's fantastic. I would absolutely love to have you in one of my programs if you feel like I'm a good fit for you. So, I'd love to Clayton on the chat's just saying he loves the 3 minutes and 12 of training, but that's what it's all about, right? And I want to be, I just want to show you guys that when you're in your marketplace as a professional and as someone who wants to set a great example for our industry, I think there's nothing more important than delivering value. And there's so many people out there who are damaging our industry right now and damaging the reputation of great people purely on the perception and the pre-framing of the prospect based on the other things that they've been to and attended and seen and not enjoyed. So let me give you a great example of that. I went to a seminar a few months ago, and there was a man in a suit with a red tie who some of you may know who I'm talking about. And he spent the whole 90 minutes talking about how great he was and all of his celebrity pals. And I've never seen the most astonishing thing of how many people ran to the back of the room to spend $3,500 with him. It made me sick to my stomach. And I really want to change that part of our business and of our industry, because I feel like people are out there who need help and they're scared because of the people who are ripping them off. So rest assured, nothing for sale here. But if you do want to work with me, by all means, reach out to me and we will have a chat. So just as an insanely brief intro, because I don't want this to be the sort of 38-minute pitch about me, because I'm sure you don't really give two shits about who I am. You care about the training. So just to give you the brief intro of why I believe I'm the right person to listen to, As of the time that I'm recording this in December 2018, I've worked with over 1,000 business owners and sales teams. And that has been not only here in Australia, I've also spoken in New Zealand and in Hawaii, which was pretty cool as well. And I've had clients in the United States of America as well. So it's been a really cool journey with those guys. This year alone, at the time of recording, we've done over 500 marketing and sales strategy sessions using video conferencing. So we've done a lot of sessions this year. We've sold over $1.2 million of services, and my services involve coaching, consulting, speaking, and training. And I've done all of this with, again, at the time of recording, less than $2,500 in ad spend, which is pretty crazy. And I'm going to teach you the exact methods that I have used to do that. Okay. Now, if you've got any questions, both here live with me on this webinar training or in Facebook land, and by all means, then please ask away. I'll be delighted to answer any questions you might have as we go. Okay. And if you want more information, of course, you can head over to anthonykirby.com, my very sparkly website, and get more information there, and lots of value and free books and things like that. Okay. So I'm going to teach you 3 strategies in this training today. The first one I'm going to teach you is how to create offers that your perfect clients are looking for right now. And I'll explain why that's important in a moment. Then I'm going to teach you how to get your offer in front of your perfect client, both organically and paid. And if you're not sure what that means, organic is basically posting on social media and having people come to you without you having to advertise. And paid is where we literally put dollars in the till for Facebook or whichever platform you choose and give them money so they can get you in front of the right people. And finally, I'm going to show you how to convert your perfect clients into paying customers, paying clients, without being all weird and salesy. You know, there's enough training out there on how to be an asshole and the A to Z of 7,000 closes that really burn the client. And I'm just going to give you a really simple framework that is 3 parts, and it is super, super simple, and it really, really works. And that's exactly how I convert every single one of my clients even now. So it's very powerful. So first of all, I just want to take you through this little, what's it called? A Venn diagram, I think one of these is called. I don't know. I could be extremely wrong there, but please correct me if I am. Now, in my opinion, right, you've really got 3 circles of your business if you are selling yourself and your services. The first thing you need to do is create offers that people want, okay? Then you need to engage people so that they can see that offer and take advantage of that offer. And then you need to be able to convert them into paying clients. Now, let me take you through where I see a lot of mistakes with people that I'm working with. If people create an offer and they can get people to engage, but they can't convert, what that generally means is that you're getting lots of people who like you, but you can't have any long-term impact because you're going to end up going broke. You can't just keep giving stuff away without converting clients, right? That makes total sense as a business model. If you can create great content and convert people without engaging them, so you can have a really quick sales process, that might work great in the short term, but it's going to give you absolutely no goodwill. And chances are your clients are going to sit there and say, that's actually not what I thought it was going to be. And they're not going to buy anything more from you. And if you can't create great offers, but you're good at getting people to engage with you and you're good at converting, well, you're going to get very inconsistent lead generation in your business. And that's probably the key thing that I see with people that I'm working with, is that their lead generation efforts are really, really inconsistent. They're generally relying on referrals, or if they're not relying on referrals, they're kind of going out there and doing what I refer to as the caveman method, which is where you go out there and club some people over the head with an offer until they convert. And that's not a great way to run your business. So the sweet spot obviously lies between all 3 of these. I'm not sure if you can see where my mouse pointer is on the screen there. But when you can create great offers and engage people and convert them into paying customers, that's where you're going to be able to generate profit in your business. And I don't think I have to tell you that the result of profit is that you can stay in business, which therefore means you have a bigger impact on the world. And that is really what being a difference maker is about, because you can't be a difference maker if you're broke, okay? And I know we're going to have like this kind of weird, awkward sales conversation about money, but the reality is you have to be okay with helping people, and you have to be okay with them paying you to help them, okay? If you're not okay with that, then you're going to go broke, and that's not a great place to be, because that means those people then cannot be helped by you. So please see it for the benefit that it really, really is, okay? So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to take you through that exact framework that I've just shown you. And then I will hot seat any specific business questions you have. So as I'm going through this, please write down any questions you've got. If you're on the Zoom training with me, then you can ask me questions in the chat, and I can actually bring you on live if you want to talk about your business as well. If you're on Facebook land, then by all means, please write your questions in the comments and we can pick up on them as we go. And if it's after the fact, then of course I will come back and answer them for you as well. Okay. So one final thing, make sure that you grab a pen and paper. It is very important. You can also have these slides if you want, but they probably won't make much sense when there's 1 or 2 words and a picture on a slide. So please grab a pen and paper and water. Make sure you stay hydrated for the next sort of 45 to an hour. Okay. So let's talk about strategy number 1, which is how to create offers that your perfect clients are looking for right now. And let's talk about this first thing is that your client has a problem. And I want to emphasize this point because some of you out there believe that people just love you and love your product, and they don't. And I know, yes, I said that. They don't love you necessarily. They don't necessarily love your product. That's a byproduct of what you do. But initially, they're coming to you because they have a problem that they want to solve. So let me give you an example of this. What do you think an optometrist does? Now, most people would say, oh, they test your eyes. But the thing that an optometrist does is they make sure that you can see the traffic lights. So the problem you have is that you can't see where you're going in a crowded room because you need glasses, or you're driving through red lights instead of stopping at the traffic lights. And perhaps you are struggling to read a book. That is a problem that you have. And the optometrist's job, whilst they might think that they are testing your eyes, what they're doing really is solving a problem that you have. Okay. And in fact, if we take that one step further, what does an optometrist do for business? They don't test eyes, they sell glasses. They are in the sales, they are in the retail industry, okay? So your client has a problem. Now, a question for you, if you're watching this, what is the problem that your client has? If you were to think about it, it's well worth considering that. Now, what I see, if in fact, you probably even see this as well, if you go through Facebook newsfeed right now, I reckon at this time, 99.9% recurring of people fail with their advertising for one simple reason, and it's this, is that they believe they know the client's problem and they put on their smart sales outfit and put a cigarette in the corner of their mouth and they ask for the business really, really far too quickly, okay? And that is not a great thing to do because ultimately your client's not ready yet. To put this another way, which might sound a bit crass, but if you walk into a bar and you see a good-looking woman or man, if you're married, of course, make sure that you are reflecting on your single days here. You wouldn't just walk up to the bar and say, hey, mate, or hey, darling, you want to come back to my place? I mean, you just wouldn't do it, right? Because you get a drink poured over your head, and the same thing applies in marketing. And yet we always see again and again and again, people just constantly making offers to the market without having built any rapport, without having added any value. So the first step that I want to teach you in this strategy is to understand your client better than they know themselves. Because when that is the case, they will naturally assume that you have the solution for their problems. And to do that, all we got to do is answer these very simple questions. So I told you would need a pen and paper, and here is why. So the first thing we want to ask, and it's very, very important, is what do they already know? What do they already know? Your client is currently going through life, walking down the street, driving in their car, sitting around with their family, watching a movie and eating popcorn. What do they already know about the client, about the problem that they have? Okay. What do they already know about how to solve the problem that they have? Do they even know they've got a problem? Okay. So these are all what Eugene Schwartz referred to as levels of awareness. Some of your clients are going through life right now, completely unaware that they've got a problem that you solve. For example, if there was an overweight person walking down the street right now, they might be walking down the street thinking life's great, looking up at the sunshine and smiling. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they get a really tight pain in their chest and down their shoulder. Now, what's happening there is they are moving from being unaware of the problem that they have to being very much problem aware because they are now having a cardiac arrest. Okay? That is moving someone through the level of awareness. However, if that person doesn't know they have a heart problem, then you might start to describe symptoms. So in your market, if your client doesn't know that they have a problem, but you know that they have the problem, you need to call out what they might be experiencing so that they can associate with that and then go, oh, maybe that's me. That's how we move people through that first level of awareness. Okay. If they already know that they've got a problem and they just know the symptoms, but they don't know how to solve it, then of course what you need to do is start to talk to them about solutions. So that might be that you start to advertise case studies. And in fact, you see this very often about, the gardener who wanted more grass on their lawns. And so they did this one thing and now suddenly they've got the greenest grass in the world. That's exactly what people are doing there. So that's why that question is really important, because we don't want to be making an offer to someone who doesn't know they've got a problem, because they're not going to stop and look at it. And therefore, you're going to waste your advertising dollars, you're going to waste your time, and you're going to waste all of your energy producing content that nobody is ready to consume. And notice what I say there. It's not that they don't want to consume it. It's just that they might not know they need to consume it yet. And so we just have to be mindful of what they already know. Okay. Now, based on what they know, the next question becomes, what have they already seen? So if they know they've got a problem and they've looked through how to solve it, well, what have they already seen? Or more importantly, who have they already seen might be the better question. So they may already be in your marketplace. They may already have if you're joining this training as a coach, for example, or a consultant, they might already have a problem with their social media. They might already have a problem with their health. They might already have a problem with their relationships. And the chances are they've probably already gone to do some research on Captain Google. And love it or hate it, that is where they are getting their education from. And so we have to know what that is, okay? And then the third question is, what have they already tried? So based on what they've seen, what have they attempted? Have they been to a seminar already? Have they spent 4 days with Tony Robbins walking on hot coals and high-fiving strangers? Have they been to marriage counseling? Have they been to a fertility clinic? Have they been to a gym and it didn't work? Have they tried a diet? So all of those things we have to understand, okay? And then the final question, and this is probably one of the most important questions you can ask, is how do they feel about what it is they've tried? So if somebody has tried to do their own social media, how do they feel about what happened when they tried to do their own social media? Are they feeling overwhelmed? Are they feeling frustrated? Are they feeling like it's not worth it? If they are trying to grow their business, if they've attempted to do Facebook ads on their own, for example, how do they feel about it? Do they feel like they just wasted $300 pressing the boost button? Has that pissed them off? Do they think that Facebook's rubbish now because of that? Because here's the deal. If you don't understand the answers to these questions, what is going to happen is you're going to go out there and attempt to persuade and influence these people, and the message may well fall on deaf ears based on the beliefs they've built based on the answers to these questions. For example, coming back to Facebook ads, if somebody has done Facebook ads before on their own and not got the results they wanted, and then you go out to the market and say, hey, I can do your Facebook ads. Facebook ads are the best thing since sliced bread. Give me $150 each day and I'll get you some leads. The likelihood is they're going to put their middle finger up and say, swing on this, champ, because it's not what they believe. They don't believe it's good because they don't know how to use it correctly. Okay. So then we have to approach it a different way and say, in that instance, you might say to them, you might have tried Facebook ads before, but did you know these are the 3 things that most people do wrong? And if they're the 3 things that they're doing wrong are the 3 things that they've done wrong, then they're going to say, oh my word, this guy or girl is inside my head and I need to go and speak to these guys because that's exactly what happened to me. And these guys obviously know the solution. And that is why it's so important to answer these 4 questions. Okay. So reality is, why does this matter? And I want you to really make note of this, is to always make sure you're meeting the conversation that the client is already having in their mind, because ultimately you cannot ever start a new conversation without already entering the conversation that's in their mind. You have to enter their conversation where they are right now. Like I said, using the Facebook ads example, if they think Facebook ads suck, you need to go there and agree with them first and then change their mind, okay? I want to make this note as well, and this is definitely worth writing down when you're coming up with all of your content ideas and offers for your clients, is that you cannot manufacture any desire, okay? Let me just repeat this and really go into emphasis on this, is that you cannot manufacture desire if it doesn't already exist in your marketplace. Now, what do I mean by that? I put a video up yesterday in Facebook and I said, if you had a restaurant, and in fact, the group that I was talking to at the time, and the particular video, I cut the question off. But the question that I gave to this particular group that I was referring to and talking to was, if you owned a restaurant, what was the most important thing with that restaurant? And around the room, you know, there's a handful of people in that room. And they sort of said, you know, great food, great service, great atmosphere, great signage, great XYZ, great chef, great whatever. And I said, look, you're all kind of wrong. I mean, you're right in one sense, but you can have the best restaurant, you can have the best of everything. But if you do not have a starving crowd at the front door, you don't have a business. And that's exactly what this point relates to. You cannot manufacture desire if it doesn't already exist in your marketplace. All right. So think about and reflect on what you've already done in your business, the offers that you've already put out there, the sales conversations that you might have had with people to date before you came to this training. Were you trying to manufacture desire that didn't exist? What you have to do is look at where the desire is and harness that desire and shift the attention of that market to you. Okay. And that's what I'm going to teach you in the remainder of this training. So the question becomes then, if we know that we need to have something that's desired, then the question is, how do you create something that is already desired by the perfect client for you? Okay. And the way that we do that is we map the path. So let's just assume you've done your research on those 4 questions that I just went through with you. So you leave this training, you go and answer those 4 questions, you speak to people, you do your research, you look in the Facebook groups, you do all of that stuff to get the understanding. And in that case, you should, in theory, know the problem your client wants to solve, which is a really good place to start if you want to sell your services. And now we're going to map out the path to progress. And let me show you how this works. So what you do is you get a piece of paper, or you could open a mind map software or whatever you want. And this is essentially what you want to do. So you see on the bottom left-hand side of the page here where my mouse pointer is, you have point A. Now that's where they are today, okay? Now at this point here, there is a frustration that your client has or a problem that they'd like to solve, okay? And the reason they want to do that is so that they can achieve something at point B being the future. So that future could be later today, it could be 6 months, 12 months, 7 years. It's going to depend entirely on your client and entirely on the problem that they have and the size and scale of that problem. So let's just assume that, as an example, right now, if I was going to, sell my program, I could probably accurately say that at point A, my client currently, my ideal perfect client right now, is frustrated that they can't generate consistent leads. And they're frustrated that even if they can generate leads, they feel really weird having sales conversations, or they give away all their time for free, and then people promise the earth, but then never turn up and give them their credit card. Okay. So what they want at point B is certainty of lead, certainty of sales, so that they can have certainty of growth in their business. Okay. So if I was going to look at these steps between point A and point B that I've drawn on the page, and you can see there's a line that runs up kind of diagonally up the page with these little markers on it. Each of these markers represents a step in the client's process or the client's journey to get from where they are right now to where they want to be. So let me give you the best example of this. If I was going to sell to that person that I've just mentioned, what would be the first thing I would have to teach that person in order to move them towards that outcome? Because you can't take a client from where they are to where they want to be in one foul swoop. It just doesn't work. They usually get overwhelmed. So if I was going to teach someone how to get more clients, well, the first thing I might want to teach them is exactly what I'm teaching you right now, which is how do you map out the client's journey so you understand what they want to hear from you? And then the next thing after that might be, all right, how do we produce great content so that we can get it in front of the client? And then based on the content, how do we then repurpose that content would be step 3, so that we can get it onto multiple platforms without it taking you 300 hours a week. And step 4, therefore, might be that once we've done that, how do we retarget those people who have looked at that content with an offer? And then how do we write the offer? And then how do we build the landing page that we send them to? And so you can see what I'm doing is breaking down that whole journey into individual checkpoints throughout this whole process. So it's not just as simple as saying what most people in the market say, which is, hey, buy my thing. My widget is the best ever. Even though it's the same as every other widget, you need to buy it because it's going to solve your problem for you immediately. The client doesn't know you. They might not trust you. They very likely don't trust you. They're definitely not going to want to spend money with you at that point. So what you have to do is give results in advance, as Frank Kern calls it. which is show someone how to take that first step so that they build their confidence with you. Okay. So here's a question for you. If you're watching this live, is what is the first step that your client would need to take to get to point B in the process? Okay. So if point A is frustration and point B is awesome results, what's the first thing you need to do to start to eliminate that frustration and move them towards awesome results? That's what we really need to start to map out. And I would encourage you to get a piece of paper and draw this exactly as I have. And at point A, write down what their current frustrations are and what's annoying them right now. And at point B, write down what their aspirations are and what they're hoping to achieve when they can overcome that problem. And then map out everything you would have to teach them in chronological order, step-by-step order of what they would have to do to achieve that outcome. And when you do that, you will have a full understanding of the steps that your client has to take throughout the entire process, okay? So that's step number one. Now, once you've got that, guess what happens then? Literally, all you do is talk about those steps all day long. So when you put social media content out there, guess what you do? You talk about that first step. When you put a lead magnet out there, guess what your lead magnet is? The first step. Because it's no good giving them the whole picture. It's going to overwhelm them. You just want to give them enough to get them in the game, okay? So that's exactly what you have to do. You just got to give them those first steps. Now, a lot of people say to me, Kirby, but if I just talk about that one thing all the time, won't people get bored? And I say, well, yeah, sure, they might. But you know what? Most people don't, because it's not something they understand already. Here's the thing. Just please remember this. They've got a problem that they want to solve. If they knew the stuff you're teaching them, they wouldn't need you, and they certainly wouldn't have a problem anymore. So when you're looking at this, you've got to be saying to yourself, all right, this is not their kind of first language. If you look at, I've got a mate of mine actually who lives in Paris, and I met with him recently. He just came back for Christmas, and I was talking to him about how he's assimilating over there in the culture. And he said, you know, it's really quite difficult because I can pick up a word or two, but I can't pick up all the words. And even though they're basic things, it's hard for me to understand. Now, that's exactly the same thing for your client. What you think is basic, for example, if you're a coach and you know how to help someone overcome a problem, for you, you do that every single day. You know exactly what to do. The client doesn't know what to do. So even the most basic things that you could possibly talk about will still be beneficial to your client. So don't underestimate the power of breaking it down for the most basic terms, okay? And on the question of lead magnets, let me just cover this because this is a really big thing that I see, is that you create lead magnets. And if you don't know what a lead magnet is, by the way, it's a way that you can engage a customer with a piece of your content in exchange for their details or in exchange for money, okay? That's what a lead magnet is. It's also called like an opt-in or many other things. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to call it a lead magnet. You have to make sure that fits with their world. And what I mean by that is if you have a busy executive that you want to coach and you want to show them how to be more productive and get their head around, you know, the problems of the world that they face inside their corporation, and you're going to give them a 166-page book to read, guess what? They're not going to read the 166-page book because they don't have time to read the 166-page book. Most of them don't even have time to eat properly or exercise or see their family. So you need to make sure that whatever you give them in the format that you provide that to them, that value, that it models their world. For example, a busy executive, you might be better off to give them like a podcast episode or an MP3 download or a video that they can consume whilst they're driving or on a train or on a plane or whatever it might be. If you are speaking to mums, like I'm sure my wife would agree that she doesn't have a lot of time on her hands. So if someone said to my wife, hey, here's how to get your kids to sleep at night without coming downstairs at 3 a.m, and here's a book to read, Ramiga wouldn't have time to read the book, but Ramiga might have time to watch a 7-minute video explaining those first steps that she needs to take to fix that problem. Okay, so that's that there. So in summary for this, when you are coming up with offers for your market, when you're coming up with content to get the attention of your market, my advice to you is that it's easier to research than it is to stab in the dark. And it's not difficult to do the research. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in a moment. When you can give people the first step in the process, when you understand that path that they have to take to get from where they are to where they want to be, what it does, it really gives your clients hope. That's the whole intention. I mean, you want them to say, thank you so much for helping me with that. And that's what builds that real deep level of trust with the client. And that's what builds a deep level of rapport so that they want to do business with you without you even asking. They're going to come to you and say, no one has explained it the way you've explained it. No one has made it as easy as that. And I've tried everything and I've been everywhere and I've spoken to everyone. And you're the only person who's been able to give me that breakthrough. That's exactly what we're looking to achieve with this. And most importantly, what that does is it increases the level of confidence they have in themselves because they're doing the work. Okay. So if you're giving them the step and they're taking that step and applying it to their business or their life or their relationships or their health or whatever it might be, they're going to build confidence and say, you know what, I can do this, because you're just giving them that little step. Okay. And that's really, really super important, because what most people do here is they want to be the hero, the coach, the consultant, the professional service provider. They want to be seen as the hero in the client's eyes. And they're like, look at me, I'm going to solve the world's problems for you. Let's go. And they're beating their chest. You don't want that to be you. What you want to say is, here's the information. Let me guide you through the process. And then you become the guide and they become their own hero. Okay. And that is, in fact, there's a great book called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, which talks all about that in great detail. I won't cover off on it right now for the purpose of timing, but I would very much recommend that you have a look at it. All right. So strategy number 2 is, now that we know what the client's path to progress is and we understand what they want from you, then the next question becomes, how do you get the offer in front of them? And this can be via both organic methods. And what I mean by that is that you can just post content organically. You don't have to pay for it. Or you can also do paid content as well, which is where you go and put an advert in front of them to see your offer. Okay. Now, when I'm saying offer, this is basically anything that you're offering in exchange for value. So if you say to them, here's some value that I'm going to give you, and you want something in return, so you make an offer to them. Okay. So you know the first steps the clients got. Now here's the 2 very, very, very high level diagram, by the way. Look at the quality of that. That is unbelievable. I know you're impressed. Don't lie. So there's 2 types of advertising you've got. First one is organic. All right. As I say, you don't have to pay for that. The other one is paid. Now you'll see there's a little sweet spot in the middle here. Okay. Now this sweet spot is what we can use to engage audiences who are in between the 2 worlds. And what I mean by that is, some people who find you organically will not convert, and some people who find you by paid advertising won't convert. And so then what we want to do is we want to use this third kind of secret audience called engagement audiences. And we want to use that to build your audiences. And essentially what this does, it takes a warm prospect and it moves them from your kind of needs being met content to your paid offers. Okay. So it's like a transition between the 2. And most people ignore this big time. So most people look at organic and they're kind of posting on social media frantically and they're doing all the offers and saying how great they are. And then some people are doing paid advertising, or they're doing both, but very few understand this bit in the middle. And that's where most of the power is in modern marketing right now. And that's the power of Facebook as it stands right now. So let's talk about organic content first. And really the whole point of this is answering the unmet need of your client. That was almost a tongue twister, but I got around it. So what you want to do is post content that your clients are going to consume, right? Makes sense. So rather than going out to social media and just posting pictures of you having a coffee, which is fantastic as a kind of documentation of how you go about your day, what you want to do is post things that are highly relevant to your audience so that they go, oh my God, that's me. I want more of that. And they'll consume more and more and more. In fact, if you think about the last major purchase that you made, chances are what you would have done, you would have kind of thought about it and said, yeah, I'd like to make that purchase. I think that's important to me. And you would have gone out of your way to Google it, to search on Facebook, to look at reviews, to read the books, to watch the YouTube videos. You would have consumed as much as humanly possible within a very, very short space of time in order to find the solutions and find the answers and build your case for making that purchase. Now, think about that from your perspective. If you want the client to see you as the option, then you want to be able to answer as many of their questions as possible so that when they go on that frantic search for answers, you're the one that they keep finding. So they'll look at video one and they'll go, geez, that was actually really exactly what I wanted. Let me go and find more about this. And they will dig deeper and deeper and deeper into your world. And you want to be able to provide them with more and more content. And you do that by being able to answer the questions that they have in their mind based on that conversation. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just switch screens quickly. And I really hope this works. So I have not tested this before, by the way. So by the power of virtue of live video conferencing, this is bound to blow up in my face, but let's give it a crack. So hopefully now you can see this screen with my Facebook page on it. And I just want to show you how easy it is to find content, okay? So just two examples that I've got here, YouTube and Quora. I'm going to call it Quora. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but we'll give it a crack. So let's just go here. Now you'll see there's this little search bar at the top. And just purely by example, I'm just going to type in, how do I grow my business? Right? Now look at this. Straight away. I haven't clicked anything yet, by the way, but look at what we've got. How do I grow my business? How do I grow my business organically? What is the best way to grow my business fast? How can I grow my business without growing my budget? How can I grow my Instagram page? So I'm just going to click on one of these, okay? Now watch what happens when I do that. Now, don't really worry too much about this because this is kind of everyone else's answer. This is the bit we want to look at. Look at these related questions. What is the best fast-growing business? What are some simple tips for growing a business? What is the best business to start? Is it like, so you can see all of those are content ideas, okay? You can click on more and it just brings up more and more and more and more and more. And now what's the point in this? Think about it like this. People are already asking this question. So that means that generally speaking, people are going to be looking for the answer. And this is worldwide. So if you go and produce this content and literally you just want to use the exact question and just turn it into a piece of content. So this one here, for example, what are the best business books on growing your business? So your content might be the 5 top business books to grow your business. Because then people are going to relate to that and they're going to want to consume it, okay? So that's like a super simple one. On YouTube, same sort of thing. So just up the top here, if I just typed in, how do I get more clients? And look at this. These are all of the most common search terms in the world. So you don't have to go and guess this stuff, right? Just do the research. How hard is it? That just took me what, like at least 3.5 seconds to just type that in. So it's not difficult. So look at this. How do I get more clients as a personal trainer? How do I get more clients as a hairstylist? Like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. You could also type in Facebook ads, right? So look at this. So again, Facebook ads strategy, Facebook ads tutorial, Facebook ads for Shopify, Facebook ads manager, right? And wherever it's got tutorial, that means people are looking for the answers. Now, if you want to go a bit deeper than this, watch this. If I click this, and I've literally got no idea what's going to come up, but let me just click on this one. And I'll make sure it doesn't play so you don't hear it. There we go. Right, now let's come down here to the comments. So this had 1.2 million views. Do you think there's people out there with that question? Damn straight there is. So look at all these comments, okay? And then look, just wondering, has anyone else asked about a detailed video about retargeting and setting up pixels? Because I'm sure I sure as hell would. Right, there. That is an unmet need right there. So they've just watched, how long is this video? I don't know, that's an ad, right? But let's just assume that video is probably 30 minutes, okay? So a 30-minute video someone's just consumed and they've still got an unmet need. Now you could just look through these comments. Right now there are, where are we? 4,100 comments, okay? You just go through and find the unmet needs in these and just make videos on all of these. Happy days, okay? There you go. Good job. I would love to see more of that though. You did not mention details about social proof and how we can get it cheap from third world countries. So you could go and be contrarian and say why you should never get your likes from third world countries. Okay, there you go. A detailed video on how to use Facebook ads and the Pixel on a Shopify dropshipping store would be awesome. Bang, there you go. This cracks me up. I'm a digital marketer selling online courses. Please make a video of how to set up my Pixel. What? So they've got a digital marketing course teaching people how to do digital marketing, but they don't know how to do digital marketing. That is hilarious. Anyway, so you see what I mean there. All right. There you go. So that's exactly what you do. You just go and do that, and you do it on there, and you do it on Facebook, and you can do the same thing on Google as well. So you can go to Captain Google, and you can type in the exact same stuff, because Google and YouTube are the world's 2 largest search engines at the time of this recording. All right. And that, my friend, is how you come up with content for your clients. Okay. So if I come back to here, hopefully now you're seeing this page again. So once you've got all those questions, guess what you do? Hallelujah. You make content. You go and press record on your phone, because guess what? The technology is that good nowadays that you can pick up your iPhone and you don't need a big fancy studio or fancy lights. You pick up your iPhone, you turn it around into selfie mode, and you say, hey guys, I've just had this question about marketing on Facebook and how to set up a pixel. So I thought I'd just walk you through that exercise. And that's exactly how you produce content that answers questions that your market has. All right. So the next form of content is paid content. And the reason that most people mess this up is because everyone has been focused on building what I refer to as, in inverted commas, the list. Because everyone always has been told, build your email list, build your email list, build your email list. And I actually think that's wrong. And I'll tell you why. But before I do that, do you know there's actually a secret list that you can build? And the secret list is a Facebook pixel and custom audiences. Now, let me talk to you about what it all means. And specifically, let me tell you why I think that you should be focused on this instead of email. If you look at email, right, let's just play this out. If you go and spend $100 on Facebook advertising, and let's just, for easy maths, just say that you're getting a lead for $1. That means that you send 100 people to your opt-in page and you get 100 email addresses. Now, I don't know about you. If you've been doing any email marketing, you've probably noticed that the open rates suck. Unless you've got, like 3 people, your mum, your auntie, and your grandma, and they're all open your emails because they love you. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Respect to the mums, aunties, and grandmas out there supporting the cause. But let's get real about it. If you have like 100 people who are just random strangers who've opted in for your content, you might get like 20 or 30 or potentially 40 who will open that email from you, which theoretically means whilst you got a lead for $1, only 1 in 3 of them are consuming your email, which means that that lead has now cost you $3. Okay. And that's before we do anything else. So then let's just assume you have to send them a second email. Well, then that means that there's only 30% of those people who are going to open that email. So that means your leads are now costing $6. For that same 100 people, your lead costs are always moving. Okay. Because the open rates are just woeful on email. And that's because of a number of factors, of course, as we know, like Google promotions folder and all that sort of stuff. So my advice would be, yes, focus on getting email addresses, but also make sure that you have your Facebook pixel on every single page that you send people to. All right. Now, you can put them on your website pages. You can put them on your landing pages. You can put them on your blog, put them on everything that you possibly put a pixel on, so that what it does is when you have someone who hits your page, Facebook fires off this little bit of code and it just basically collects that person in the Facebook audience. Now, you don't know who it is, obviously, for privacy reasons. Facebook aren't saying, hey, John just clicked on your website, because that would be a massive invasion of privacy. And let's not go there with Cambridge Analytica or anything. But what you want to do is you want to give Facebook the opportunity to collect those people into a custom audience for you. And then when you go and create the audience, you can say to Facebook, hey, Facebook, can you go and show this particular offer or this particular lead magnet or this particular piece of content to everybody who took a specific action on my website? For example, let's say you had people who went to your contact page, but they didn't end up on the thank you page. So that means they went to the contact page, got spooked, didn't put in the contact information, didn't send you the inquiry, and they bounced and they ended up somewhere else. Now, you could now retarget those people using a custom audience on Facebook, where you would say to Facebook, show this advert, which is a testimonial from a happy client, to the person who got spooked out and didn't make the inquiry. Now, what do you think that's going to do when it shows up in the face of the person who didn't make the inquiry? They're going to say, oh, wow, that's the person that I was looking at recently, and I really, really resonate with what they were doing, but I got a bit spooked out, so I'm just going to watch this testimonial because this might answer some of the questions. And then that testimonial is just raving about how good you are, and it just so happens that the testimonial has a little button underneath saying, hey, would you like to contact me? and then they contact you via Messenger instead of via your website. That is the power of the Facebook Pixel and custom audiences. It just gives you so much more scope to get to the people who have already interacted with you. All right. So without going too deep into it, to do that, to install your Facebook Pixel, you would go to your Facebook Ads Manager and you would create your pixel, and then you would install it on your website or your landing page. And if you don't know how to do that, then by all means, let me know and I can send you a video walking you through that exercise. Or we can jump on a phone call and I can show you how to do it and I can do it with you. Okay. That is really, really important. Now, also, let me just make this point. Even if you're not going to do Facebook ads for like 12 months because you don't think you need to, mark my words, install the Pixel, because it means that you're still collecting data now. Because if you decide in 12 months time that you suddenly want to do adverts, guess what? You ain't got no audience because you haven't got your Facebook Pixel. So your custom audience will be super small. Whereas if you install it now and it's collecting data for the next 365 days before you put your advert up, you've got 365 days of data already sitting there in Facebook as a secret audience, okay? And it's like a secret list building tool because everyone is using email, but also you can use this as well. And it's just a powerful way to get in front of the right people and keep your ad costs at bay as well, all right? So let's talk about content-based strategy. Then we'll talk about a paid strategy as well. And this is how I would recommend you do your advertising in a very basic, high-level way. But I just want to show you to give you some ideas. If you're stuck with generating leads right now, this is what I would recommend you do, all right? So let's just start over here where it says page posts and live streams. And I am going to assume that you can still see my little mouse arrow thing, mouse pointer. That's the word I was looking for. So let me just have a little drink of water, getting a dry throat. And by the way, if you are on as a participant right now, please let me know if this is useful for you. I see a couple. I see Clayton and Ramika on there. Ramika's my wife, so respect for the wife supporting the cause. Well played, you. Love to know if this is useful. Happy days. Clayton's saying you can see it. Excellent. All right. So let's just assume you've posted something on your page, a piece of content that answers the question that the client has, exactly as I've just shown you how to do. Or you've done a Facebook Live, which is exactly what I'm doing right now as it happens via the power of technology. Now, what would happen is you would then go and create a custom audience based on someone who's engaged with your page in the last X amount of days, or someone who engaged with a specific video on your page. So right now you can go into Facebook and you can create a custom audience based on the amount of a video that someone watched. So you can say, hey, Facebook, go and find me everyone who watched my awesome video answering that specific question. And I want you only to show this next thing to people who watched the entire video, or 50% of the video, or 25% of the video. Let me give you an example of this. About probably 3 weeks ago, I posted a video on Facebook. It was 20 minutes long, which by Facebook standards is pretty bloody long, right? Like people don't usually sit on Facebook for 20 minutes watching a video. And I put it on Facebook. It had 4,400 views. Now, a view in Facebook's world is classified by a 3-second view of the video. So that in itself is not that impressive. Now, within Facebook, though, it also showed me that of the 4,400, about 50 of them watched the entire video. That means that 50 people sat there for 20 minutes watching me. Now, what do you think that means? Do you think that if I was to ask them, are you engaged or not, what do you think the answer would be? I think there's a fairly high degree of certainty that they would feel fairly engaged in that content because they've sat there for the whole thing. Now, it might just be that they left their computer running while they went to make a cup of tea and got the toilet. That's very, very possible, of course. But there's a fair chance that they were on their mobile device, sitting there on a train or whatever, or sitting there at nighttime, watching me for 20 minutes. Now, as they are so engaged, what you then want to do is you want to say to Facebook, hey, anyone who's in this custom audience that we've just created based on the engagement of the page or the specific post, or anyone who's watched a specific percentage of the video that you posted, show them an offer. And when you show them this offer, I just want to give you the advice on this and be clear on this. Don't dick around with this. That's the official technical term. Don't dick around. Just show them the bloody offer. They already know you. They've already watched your content. So give them the offer. Okay. So don't take them back in the sales process, move them to that next point, and then take them straight to an opt-in. Now, like right now, I know there's people who have registered for this training purely who saw that offer because they had already engaged with a live stream or a page post that I'd done. That's the only way they saw it, because they were in this custom audience. So this stuff works. And I literally decided 32 hours ago to do this live training. So it literally was just like, well, I've got 2 hours in my calendar. Let's go. So it really works. Now, if you want to make an offer, this is how you do it. So this let's just assume the video's on your Facebook page, or that they've been to your website. Because remember, you've got this Facebook pixel installed on your website too. Now, what you do is you're going to create a retargeting audience for anyone who viewed the website content. That could be a blog post or a specific page or a landing page, or anyone who viewed a specific video. And here's the thing. What you want to do is make sure that the lead magnet that you offer, or the low cost offer that you provide, it needs to be directly related to the content that they consumed in step one. So let me give you the example. If I have someone who watched a blog post or watched a blog video on my website, and that blog video, let's just assume, is about installing the Facebook pixel, as an example. Now, there's a fair chance that that person doesn't know much about Facebook ads. That's why they're watching that video. So then what I would do is create a lead magnet saying, here's a 5-part video series showing you how to set up your first Facebook ad and launch it. Okay. And then I could give that as a lead magnet for free, or I could say, hey, it's $7 or $29 or $49. I wouldn't recommend that you do anything over like $100 for this, because it's still very early days in the relationship. And that way they say, wow, that's cool. That's exactly what I need right now, because what you're doing is meeting them at the next step on the path of progress. If this is step one, then this lead magnet is step two, and it moves them along as their confidence increases. Okay. Now, if they consume this and they take you up on this lead magnet, then what you want to do is you want to make an offer. So you want to retarget those people. So here's how it would look, just to make sure you're clear on it. Step one, they visit your website and they watch the Facebook pixel installation video for free. Then we say to Facebook, make an audience of everyone who watched the Facebook pixel video. And we say, all right, here's a lead magnet. And we showed them the lead magnet. And they say, fantastic, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I really, really wanted to see the 5-part video series on how to set up my first Facebook ad. And then we retarget anyone who took up the lead magnet, and we say, righto, I saw that you joined that 5-part video series. Do you know there's a full course for $997? Here's the webinar, or here's the offer. And then you're moving them through that buying process. And that's exactly how I would recommend that you do it. And this works really, really, really well. Okay. So have a think about what you currently have in your business as an asset that you haven't used for a while, and think about the question that you could create as content in order to move people towards that asset, because you don't have to go out there and create lots of new assets. All right. And by the way, if you've got questions, let me know. Happy to answer them for you. So that's step two. So now we've already covered off how do we get in front of the client. We've covered off how do we target that client and get them to engage in the content that we've created for them. And now what's going to happen is, by default, you are going to end up with people saying, hey, that was awesome. What's next? Well, they're going to come to you and say, can you help me? And then you're going to have a sales conversation. And so strategy 3, the final strategy, is how to convert a perfect client without being all weird and salesy. Because I know very, very well that being salesy is one of the biggest things for people who are in the difference maker world, because you want to make a difference and you don't want to come across like a douche. Okay. Now I'm going to give you the exact strategy that I use to close every single deal that I close. And I'm going to walk you through an exact example. So let's get into it. Now, what happens is most sales calls go like this. The prospect and the coach, or the prospect and the professional services provider, get on a phone call, and the professional service provider, the coach, the consultant, they sound a bit like this. They go, hey, I've coached like 1 million people. We get great results. I can make you tons of money. This is how great I am. This is exactly what I do. Here's my testimonials. I'm amazing. And that's basically like that for 45 minutes. And then at the end, they say, right, the product's X amount of dollars. Do you want to buy it? And the prospect goes, let me think about it. Or, yeah, that sounds fantastic. Let me come back to you when I've spoken to hubby or wife. And then the coach then ends up saying 3 days later, this is rubbish. They promised me they would buy off me, and they're just liars. Everyone's a liar. Buyers are liars. All this stuff. They were just wasting my time. Now, is that a really good way to be putting out the vibe? No, it's not. And the reason it's happening is because of the way they're conducting the call. It's got nothing to do with the prospect. The prospect is there for a reason. Like, think about this. Do you think that someone would make the time to schedule a call and turn up to a call if they didn't have a problem? Absolutely not. There's absolutely no way, until hell freezes over, there is no way you would get someone on a phone call unless they were genuinely interested in solving the problem. Okay? Now, it just comes down to how good you are at converting. So here's a better way to do it. Because you're a difference maker. And as you well know, difference makers are world class. So here's my sales process. Literally 4 little steps. Okay? First step is we ask them a specific question, which I'm going to share with you in a second. And then we're going to review what their answer is. And then once we've got that answer, we're going to add value so that we can give them something to work on. And then we're going to ask for their business. Now, let me take you through this. I'm going to take you step by step, and I'm going to give you a real example as we go. Okay? So here's the question that we ask. So I would have the prospect on the phone with me, or on a Zoom call, or face-to-face, depending on how you deliver. And by the way, this will work really, really well if you sell yourself or a service associated with yourself. It's not going to work if you're watching this and you own like a store selling bread. This is not going to work, obviously, because this is not designed for that. This is designed for service-based businesses, just to clarify. So here's the question. And I'm just going to assume the client's called John, because every great example is John, Joe, or Mary. So I'm just going to pretend I've got John on the line with me now. And I'd say, John, if we were having this conversation in 12 months from now, what would need to have happened for you to be happy with the results that we achieved together? That's the question. Okay? So let me break this down for you. What does this mean? There's a few things attached to this. So let me take you through it. The first thing is, if we were having this conversation in X amount of time from now. Now, obviously, where X is, you can put your own time frame in. That might be a week, a month, 3 months, whatever. So if we were having this conversation 12 months from now, now what does that imply? We're going to have a conversation 12 months from now. You're implying it. You're pre-framing the client to say, hey, this is what's going to happen 12 months from now. We are going to have a conversation. And then you're going to say the second part, what would need to have happened? Now, what's going to happen when you ask that? The prospect's going to say, well, this would need to happen, and this would need to happen, and this would need to happen. And they're going to rattle off everything that in their mind, the conversation in their mind, remember, we want to enter it. They're going to tell you the conversation in their mind. They're going to say things like, well, Kirby, if I join and in 12 months' time we're having this conversation, I'd want to make sure I've got like more leads. I'd want to have more clients. I'd want to make more money. I'd want to spend more time with my kids. I'd want to be able to take my wife on holiday. I'd want to be able to buy a car, etc., etc., etc. Okay? And all you want to be doing is writing that down and just sitting with your mouth closed, just being quiet, which is very difficult for some people. But that's where you're going to get the gold. Now, look at the last part of the question. Happy with the results we have achieved. We means together. So that is, again, presupposing that it's going to be you and the prospect together. Okay? So let's just assume that the exact example just happened with John. So I asked John that question, and John told me I would need more leads, and I'd want more sales, and I would want to be able to spend more time with my kids. Let's say there were the 3 things that he answered. Okay? Then what I would do is review those answers. So I would say, okay, John, here's what I'm hearing. That you want to make more money, you want to get more leads, you want to have more clients, and you want to spend more time with your kids. Okay? Am I understanding that? And John would say, yep, that's correct. And then I would say, all right, tell me what it means, more leads. What does that look like? Tangible. Because more leads you might be thinking like 300 more leads, because that's just the operation level that you're at. John might be thinking, you know what, if I could just get like 5 more leads for the whole year, that would be amazing, because he hasn't had any this year. So you need to dig deeper to get to the core of all of the answers. So if it's abstract, if it's vague in any way at all, you want to dig deeper. And so you would just follow it up and say, all right, John, how many leads are you getting at the moment? Well, Kirby, I'm getting 10. All right. How often are you getting 10 leads? Every month. Okay, so what would a successful lead increase look like? Oh, well, I'd like to get to 20. Why is that important to you? That's the important one. Why does that matter to you? So once you get to the bottom of the actual answer, once you've got specificity around the answer, then the follow-up is, why is that important to you? And then, John might say something like, well, if I could get 20 leads, that would mean that I could earn $1 million. Okay, why is that important to you? Well, $1 million allows me to go on holiday with my wife to Bora Bora. It allows me to buy a new Mercedes. It allows me to pay off my mortgage. It allows me to do X, Y, and Z. Fantastic. They're all good goals. And that's exactly how I'd say, yeah, that's fantastic. They're all great things. And then I would just move on to the next one. But you want to be writing all of this stuff down so that when you come to the end, you could say, right, let's go through this again. Okay. And I'll get there in a second. So I hope you're keeping up so far. So let's just review where we're at. We're going to ask the question. We're going to write down all the answers. We're going to review the answers, and we're going to dig deeper for anything that's vague or abstract. And we're going to get to the core, and then we're going to ask, why is that important? Okay. Then once you've got all of that, I would say, all right, John, here's first things first. Here's a couple of things already that I think you could work on without even doing anything with me. Let's just give you these, write these down, go and do this immediately. Now that is demonstrating that you're adding value to somebody. For example, let's just say that I was on a phone call with John. I had his website in front of me, and I could see that there was no Facebook pixel on his website, and he wants more leads. I'd say, John, one of the first things we can do is utilize a secret list in Facebook using a Facebook pixel. Now, I'm going to send you a video which shows you exactly what you need to do to install that pixel, and I'm going to send you that right now. What's the best email to send that to? Bang. All right. Now, I want you to go and do that straight away so we can start to build upon this when we're working together. All right. So that's adding value. Or I could say, John, here's the first thing I wanted to do. I wanted to go back to all of your clients that you've already worked with, and I wanted to ask them for a testimonial so we can put them on Facebook. That's valuable, right? Because they might not have thought of these basic things. And again, just because it's basic for you doesn't mean it's basic for them. So don't underestimate that small stuff that adds value to them. And then once we've done that, then I would say, right, John, I really want to help you get that Mercedes, and I want to help you get that holiday. And I really believe that what you're asking with lead generation is achievable. I've done that before for clients. My question to you, John, is, would you like me to help you with it? That's the close. There's nothing pushy about that. There's nothing douchey about it. There's nothing hard about that. It's literally like, look, I think we could do this together. Would you like me to help you do it? This is what I do. This is what I do day in, day out. Would you like me to help you with it? Now, what's going to happen here? What's John going to say? It's like a yes-no answer. He's going to say, yep, Kirby, that sounds great. What's the steps? Bang. And then you go into your, well, it's this much money, and so on, so on, so on. And you close the deal. Or John says, nah, Kirby, I'm not ready. No worries. And here's the benefit. You go, hey, John, no stress, mate. And that's it. You leave it alone. Don't burn the client, because you want John to go away still with value, because remember, you've given him value in step 3. And then John walks away and does that thing and goes, wow, that actually worked. I actually just achieved that. I wonder what else I could achieve if I work with these people. And then therefore, you just keep following up with great engagement, great content. And then John's going to turn around and say, Kirby, I tried that thing, and would you believe it? It bloody worked. I couldn't believe it. And then bang, you're demonstrating value. Okay? That is exactly how you do it. So in recap, because we're at the end, and look at that. What? No pitch? You're kidding me. Literally no pitch. I told you that at the start. I'm not here to sell you anything. I was just here to add some value. So just to recap everything that we just discussed. All right? If I just go all the way back. So where are we? First one, how to create offers that your perfect clients are looking for right now. Here's how you do it. Go and find the questions they're asking. Understand the path to progress that they need to take so that you can help them get that first step out of the way. When they've got that first step out of the way, what you want to do is create organic content that they can consume. And then you want to create audiences that you can retarget your clients with. So you need to install your Facebook pixel on your website and your landing pages and everywhere else. And you also want to create engagement audiences in your ads manager for people who've engaged with your Facebook page, people who've engaged with specific posts on your Facebook page. Okay? So that is step 2. And the final step is when you get the prospect to have a conversation with you, which it's not an if, it's a when, if you're creating good content, then what you got to just say is, hey, what would need to happen in the next X amount of time for you to be happy with the results we get? You need to review the answer and dig deep. And then you need to say, hey, that all sounds fantastic, John. I believe I'm the right person to help you with that. Would you like my help? Bang. That is it in a summary. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to start my video. And hey, there I am. Look at that. So let me just move my Zoom window over so I can see you. Hang on a second. We got some technical difficulties here, folks. Hold on just un momento. Can't speak Spanish. All right. So I really, really hope that that was valuable to you. As I say, there is zero pitch. But if you do want to talk to me, then you can let me know. And I would happily jump on a call. I have made some time in my diary to speak to you. And I'd love to help you to understand the next step in your process for your business. Okay. So I'm going to end recording now. I hope it's been helpful. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing, and Merry Christmas if I don't speak to you soon. Clayton, I will send you a message now, and we will organize a catch-up. All right. I'll speak to you later, guys. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.